Fly, Eagles, fly. The Philadelphia Eagles are officially facing a major reality check as the absence of A.J. Brown creates immediate waves during minicamp. A high-impact roster shuffle is already causing concern for the coaching staff after a key injury hit the wide receiver room on day one. We are seeing firsthand how the team plans to cope with this new, uncertain reality, and fans are demanding answers right now. Shout out to Marcus from Philadelphia for joining the conversation. We are breaking down every ripple effect of this roster transition. Subscribe to stay updated on this developing situation today. At the center of this debate is the injury to Makai Lemon, which has fundamentally shifted the competition for the wide receiver 2 job. While the team navigates the first days of minicamp without A.J. Brown, the immediate loss of Lemon to a hamstring injury forces the Eagles into a precarious position. The news confirms that Lemon will miss the remainder of minicamp, creating an unexpected void that impacts his development trajectory before training camp even kicks off this summer. This situation highlights a glaring vulnerability in the roster depth, even if the team possesses more wide receiver bodies than they did last season. With Lemon sidelined, the responsibility of filling first-team reps alongside Devonta Smith has fallen onto a mix of players including Dontavion Wicks, Hollywood Brown, Johnny Wilson, and Elijah Moore. This uncertainty at the receiver position is the direct consequence of the organizational decision to move on from A.J. Brown, who held his first practice with the New England Patriots on the exact same day these effects were felt in Philadelphia. The team is currently experimenting with different combinations, but the lack of consistency at the second wide receiver spot is a reality that cannot be ignored. Every snap taken by players who are not the intended starter demonstrates just how much the offense must adapt to the new reality without an elite veteran presence. As we track these adjustments, the pressure is mounting to see who can step up and secure a vital role in the passing game. The absence of a clear leader in this competition is already generating questions about the overall viability of the wide receiver core as they prepare for the upcoming challenges of the season. Why does this matter right now for the team? The answer lies in the immediate impact on the current depth chart and the reliance on players who have yet to prove themselves in critical roles. With Makai Lemon out, the team is essentially forced to test the viability of Hollywood Brown and other depth pieces earlier than intended. Hollywood Brown, who has faced significant struggles since his 2022 foot injury, is currently being evaluated for his fit within the scheme. Although he averaged 36 receiving yards per game since that injury and recorded 9 touchdowns, he is not the same player he was in his prime. The data shows he is best utilized as a WR3, similar to how the Kansas City Chiefs employed him last season, rather than as a primary option. His air yards per target of 11.30 and yards after the catch show potential, but asking him to replicate the production of a top-tier threat is an unrealistic expectation. The reality is that the current group behind Devonta Smith lacks the proven consistency to guarantee success. If players like Johnny Wilson or Elijah Moore are required to step into first-team roles during the regular season, the offense could face major hurdles. Wilson is still fighting for a roster spot while recovering from severe knee and ankle injuries, and his skill set leans more toward blocking than catching the ball. Similarly, Moore has struggled to produce, totaling only 112 receiving yards last season. Relying on these players at the WR2 position is a gamble the coaching staff is forced to take in June, but it highlights the instability currently facing the wide receiver room as they navigate the post-Brown era. The pressure is now squarely on Dontavion Wicks to establish himself as the definitive WR2. With Makai Lemon sidelined for the next 2 weeks, Wicks has received a golden opportunity to dominate first-team reps and create separation from his competition before training camp begins. As the clear front-runner for the position, Wicks must justify the faith the organization is placing in him during these crucial OTA practices. Despite a promising rookie campaign where he hauled in 581 receiving yards, his production has trended downward in subsequent years. His yards per catch dropped from 14.9 in his rookie season to 10.6 in his second year and 11.1 in his third, raising legitimate questions about his ability to consistently function at a high level. While there is upside to his game, the fact that he was traded to the Eagles by the Packers suggests that his former team did not view him as a long-term starter. The hope is that Sean Mannion can unlock the potential in Wicks, helping him thrive in this specific offensive scheme. However, if Wicks fails to capitalize on this increased workload, the team will find themselves in a very difficult spot. The margin for error in this offense is slim, and the coaching staff needs a reliable target opposite Devonta Smith to keep defenses honest. Wicks is currently the most logical solution, but logic does not always translate to on-field production. His performance in the coming weeks will be a primary indicator of whether the passing game can maintain its effectiveness, or if the loss of A.J. Brown will cause the aerial attack to stagnate when the games actually start counting toward the standings. To compensate for the uncertainty at wide receiver, the coaching staff is turning their attention toward the tight end position. Throughout the open OTA and minicamp practices, the offense has heavily featured Dallas Goedert and rookie Eli Stowers as focal points. By prioritizing tight ends in the passing game, the team is attempting to mitigate the potential fallout from the lack of reliable wide receiver depth. Goedert is expected to shoulder a massive share of the targets and will likely function as the number 2 option behind Devonta Smith. Smith himself is preparing to step into the role of a true WR1, and all signs point to him being ready for the increased volume. However, the reliance on tight ends is a clear acknowledgement that the wide receiver group is not yet functioning at the required level. While Goedert and Stowers are doing a good job of getting open, this shift in strategy highlights a fundamental change in the team's offensive identity. The Eagles are essentially building a system that may lean more on interior threats to survive the transition period. This puts even more pressure on the wide receiver group to prove they are assets rather than hindrances. If Lemon, Wicks, and Brown cannot establish a reliable rotation, the tight end heavy approach will become the primary identity of the team's pass game. This creates a challenging dynamic where the wide receivers must earn their snaps by performing in a system that is increasingly focused elsewhere. It is a balancing act that the team must navigate as they move forward, hoping that this focus on the tight ends provides enough stability until the wide receiver room proves it can function at a high level. Ultimately, the verdict is clear. The Philadelphia Eagles are objectively worse at wide receiver without A.J. Brown on the roster. While the team might possess more depth than last year, that depth remains theoretical and unproven. The injury to Makai Lemon has stripped away that thin layer of security, exposing the team to the harsh reality of relying on receivers who are currently fighting for roster spots or recovering from past production declines. Devonta Smith is capable of carrying the load as a WR1, but no team can operate at full efficiency with so many question marks at every other receiver position. Every player currently taking reps has something to prove, and while that can occasionally fuel high performance, it more often leads to inconsistency during the early parts of the season. The price of trading an elite talent like A.J. Brown is being felt in real time, and the organization is currently in a race against time to see if the available options can coalesce into a functional unit. There will be growing pains, and the coaching staff has their work cut out for them as they balance scheme adjustments with player development. The upcoming training camp will be the true litmus test for this group, as they will need to show that they can perform under pressure without the safety net of a veteran superstar. With all this in mind, do you think the Eagles have enough talent in the wide receiver room to cover for the loss of A.J. Brown, or should they look for outside help before the season starts? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.